Hey there, we're gonna go live in just a minute. I want to wait till 2:30 to do this. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll turn this into a recorded afterwards as well. Hope this goes well. I'm still experimenting with these lives. I'm probably going to have my glasses on to do this and get positioned where everybody can see. So, anyway, we're going to do, let's give it another minute. But we're going to talk about some guitar scales and looking at something like this and not being so doggone scared of it, because it doesn't have to be as scary as everybody thinks it is, but it's also not as simple as some people think it is too. Um, some people will learn a scale and then they think that they've learned all the scales, and that's just not true. Um, Scales involve a lot of things. You know, there's a reason we teach you to learn the musical alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, repeat A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's a reason that we take the guitar and we tell you to learn E, A, D, G, B. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears, and then learn about semitones, half steps. Um, that name, the semitone and half step, one of them's more of a U.S. and semitones is used more in England and Europe. I almost wish we'd use semitones. Steps can confusion, make you stumble. I'm not trying to start a debate. You just have to realize things can be different. Um, but there's a reason we try to teach you, that E to F is that half step, B to C is that half step. And there's a reason for that. And I've got a video that says E and F, that E and F and B and C are friends, and they are. Um, but they also have a lot to do with the steps, intervals, semitones. Um, Many people think they don't have any connection to music theory and scales at all, and that they say they've taught themselves. And I understand that, but what I've found, and here's the reason I say this, I did it too back when I was in high school, because I told you I got 5 basic lessons, and then I was in a folk group and a gospel group. The lessons went to the wayside. It was all then just learning from other guitarists that were gracious enough to share things. But what I found out, most of them that said they don't need any music theory, what they recognized was patterns and what sounded right. That's the reason that we start out young kids with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It sounds right. It fits. I've got a video about waiting for the shoe to drop. So let me tell you what I'm going to do here today. I'm going to show you that the reason that I start a student off, and this is arguable, but I start a student off with the C major scale. And that is so we can use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then from that, they can learn what the intervals are. That they can learn that pattern, and scales have different patterns. They have different modes. But that one is a whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, a half step. Whole, half, 3 wholes, half. And you may be going, whoa, I'm out of here. What are you? But this is not that hard. It's just, it could be. I realize that. It was hard until I got myself wrapped around it. But you just hadn't been exposed to the terminology. Nobody in guitar is stupid. Remember, there's a difference between stupid and ignorant. Ignorant just means you don't know something. So, I'm never ashamed of being ignorant because I want to learn. Now, that's the reason I put this is my fret-like guitar. And you can see I put the notes on myself. I just recently put a little short video that showed you how to actually put the fret labels on a card and slide the card through, and that way you can do it without destringing. But there's two different types of fret lights, and I am an authorized fret light teacher and reseller. I've been using Fretlight as a teaching tool for almost 20 years, but I've never sold Fretlights to make a living. I've never even sold Fretlights at all, but they recognize my classroom instruction. Most of the Fretlights Bluetooth through a module, and they Bluetooth back to an app or to Guitar Pro or to Guitar Tunes. This Fretlight is a Stratocaster. It's an FG, I think it's a 621, I don't remember, but it has an onboard module. And I'm going to light it up in a minute. That's this little black thing down here, and you'll see if I press the button, watch. I know we've got all that reflection. FG200. Now it wants to know what I want to do. And so through a series, and you can see the board lit up. So actually I am in the C major scale. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, watch. Now I'm going to touch this module again. The root note, the C is going to light up all over the fret and blink. Watch. I'm fixing to push right down here. All right, now do you see the blinking C notes? Let me get it close where you can see. Find the ones that are blinking, and you're going to realize they're a C. Kind of look at that a minute. Now, when you're connected to Guitar Tunes or to Guitar Pro, and you're using the app, you can actually, this is showing all the C major scales. You can actually make it go through the positions. And, you know, positions are just, you can get into some deep thing about positions, like first position, and then every 3 frets, you have like up to 5 positions: first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I don't want this to become an argument thing where, in fact, I'm just not going to do that. You know, this is, we need to learn how that we need to learn. We don't need somebody beating up on us about, you know, well, you didn't learn this, well, you didn't learn that. Well, no, I didn't. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be. So I want this guitar journey to be good. So right off the bat, this is a C major, several C major scales, several of them, you know, and I'm going to slow down here in a minute, but, you know, here's one. And I can't see, even though I know where it is. Now, every one of those notes I hit, but like there's also a C major scale that can be done up here using open strings. It's another reason I like to start with the C major scale, not the A minor pentatonic, which I know everybody wants to learn the A minor pentatonic, and it's the second scale I teach. Actually, it's the third. I teach the C and then a G, and I'm going to show you why. The A minor pentatonic scale does not use whole notes like the C scale does. And a lot of people will learn the C major scale, and then they think, oh, well, I can apply that to any scale. Well, you can't. The C major scale uses whole notes: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It uses, let's see if you can see this. All right, you see that's a C. See it's blinking there? See it blinking? C, D, okay, and then E, then F, then G, then A, then B, then C. There's another way to play it, though. You can also hit C, and then remember that the next string open without hitting it is D. So there's your C to D. Then you would hit E, F. Then you would hit that open string, the third, that's a G. And then you would drop down and get your A, B, and you would end down there on C. So there's several ways to play a scale. C major scale is one of the few ones that actually uses open strings while you're playing. So, you know, and then I'm going to go with the open. And I ended up on C. See it? See it flashing? And then I could walk that back. So that's one of the reasons I start off with the C major scale. But now I'm going to change to the G major scale. And I could actually take the time, and I'm going to do a deep dive video on this on another time where I could show you from when you're starting with C, from C to D is a whole step. In other words, one fret's a half step, two is a whole step. So that's where you would get that whole, half, whole, half. Don't let that throw you. It's this, the more you expose yourself to things, the more they become clear. So let's take our fret light, and I'm going to get this. You got to bear with me a little. Let's do this where maybe you can see. And now my cord's getting in the way, but that's all right. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come down here to notes. Watch it change. It's going to jump to D. Well, it's going to do the C sharp flat. There's D. There's E. There's F. Remember, E to F, there wasn't no E flat. There wasn't no sharps because, remember, that's a half step. Now we're at G. So let's go back and look. Let's see what happened now. All right. I see a couple of people have already bugged out. They probably already know this, or they don't like the way I was teaching. But you can see even up here across the nut, it's got the G string is blinking because that's part of the scale, the open G string. Now, you see, take a look at the fretboard again and look at what's blinking. All right. See right here? That's a G. Find the other one. That's a G down here. They're all up and down the neck. There's one right here. So that's the start of a scale, because what I did when I pressed this button a second time after I picked the scale, I told it to blink the root note. But here's what's different. Remember in the C scale, we did C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, well, watch what happens when we do this. I'm going to try to get this where you can see it. All right, bear with me. It's my first time to do this with y'all. Okay, so G. Here we go. There's G. And then here's A. And then here's B. Then here's C. There's that little half step. And then D. And then E. Wait a minute. Why isn't that F blinking? Whoa! We're on the G, not the C. In the C scale, every whole note was blinking. It's not blinking there. Now it jumps to the F sharp. And then it ends with the G. So you see, every scale is not the same. They're different. And don't let that confuse you. Don't let that bother you. There are tools and things that you will learn, and that's the reason you practice scales. They're going to be demystified. You don't have to. I mean, for instance, let's look. This is a diagram of the G major scale. Now I'm going to put it down a second. And a lot of times we look at something like this and we don't even know how to read the diagram. But basically you're looking at the guitar headstock is up here. So this would be represented like this. In other words, this is the neck of the guitar. This diagram is the neck of the guitar. It's not like this. It's like this, the same way the guitar neck is. And so what you learn in a scale diagram is you learn the way to read the diagram, because you start and you go left to right, and then you work your way down from the sixth, fifth, fourth, third, second, first string. Now, that will help you to make sense when you see something that scares you and makes you run away. Now, this is going to go into deeper things. You'll notice that when I put this up here, you'll see things like an R. Well, that's just a root. Sometimes you'll see a flat 3. Sometimes you'll see a P4, a P5, the perfect fifth. That's all part of the theory. And I know it seems mind-boggling, but it really doesn't have to be. Scales need to be taken a little at a time. Then you can move to the A minor pentatonic. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back to chords and scales as soon as I can see. Here we go. So see, now it's giving me the different type of scales. Dorian, Lorraine, whole tone, Lydian, altered, harmonic minor, blues, minor pentatonic. So now let's change the note. Well, there's A. Now we're doing an A minor pentatonic. And here's that famous scale that everybody's going to tell you. If you'll learn it, you'll know everything about guitar for the rest of your life. Well, you'll learn a lot, and it is a very commonly used scale. I love the A minor pentatonic scale. Penta, 5. It actually only has 5 notes, but you're typically taught to take it all the way out through the entire harmonic. So most of the time you're taught to start this up on the 5th fret. See, the A is blinking? So here is your A minor pentatonic. Then you walk it backwards. But the true, the A minor pentatonic notes are simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, pentatonic. But you're being taught, rightly so, to carry on out to the full 12 notes of the Western music scale. But now look, when you stop there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, here it is again. See the A right there? See it's blinking, because I've told my guitar module to blink the root notes. So let's look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop. 5. I hit the string above it. But see here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now look, I could carry it on out and end up, there you are, there's another A. The A's are all up and down the neck. So when you hear terminology like first position, second position, third, fourth, fifth, that's all they're talking about. When you hear, all these different type of Ionian, Dorian, this, that, they're talking about positions, and they're talking about the way the scale is used as far as flats, perfect fifths, the layout of the scale. That's a whole nother thing. Don't get lost in it. The biggest thing I wanted you to realize today is the C major scale uses whole notes. All scales use some whole notes. The C major scale uses all whole notes, And then we went to the G major scale and we realized, wait a minute, there was a sharp or a flat in there. Remember, a sharp and a flat, same thing, depending on what you're talking about. That I've got videos on that too. So I'm about to end this. I hope this helps. Don't let things like this confuse you. The whole idea was for you to realize if I learn the C major scale, I've made a giant leap into guitar. I really have, because then I'm going to learn all kind of things. When you learn uh, the sixth string and the first string, the notes. Remember, we've always told you that if you learn the sixth string, well, the first string is an E as well. They're both E's. So if you learn the notes going down this, then you automatically know them coming down the first string. But doing the E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, 12th fret, you end back up with E again. When you learn that, that's how you're going to learn to make those power chords. The just, or a fifth chord, a 5 chord, which is, just using 2 fingers, because you're going to learn to go, oh, okay, F, G, A, B, C, and things like that. That way, when somebody tells you what key you're in and things like that, it's going to make sense to you. I hope that wasn't too much. I'm always worried about throwing too much at people. And I just realized this had members only mode is on, and I don't, for comments, and I don't know I know how to change it to start. So I apologize for that. The next one we do, we'll take questions. And so anyway, I apologize for that. Okay. I hope your guitar journey is blessed. I hope that this meant something to you. Feel free, once this gets posted, you can post comments. I'll be glad to answer questions there. But remember, let's review one last time. The C major scale uses whole notes. Then we went to the G major scale and saw there was a half note in there. There was a flat. There was a flat in there. Or sharp, depends on how you're going to say it. Remember, you can either have a F sharp or a G flat. And I've got a whole thing on that too. Thanks for being here. Hope your guitar journey is blessed, and most of all, happy picking.